Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, interesting topic here for you today. There was a question that came up in one of the Facebook groups a couple days ago about what the best option is for blogging and what you can choose from. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at this. Of course, I haven't set anything up yet, so it's going to take me a second to get my Windows set up just the way that I want it. But here we go. We'll go ahead and just open up the screen here, and we'll take a quick look and see what some of the options are. So if you want to start up your blog and you're interested in talking with people about what you do, the first thing you're going to think about is, boy, I could probably go over to, I don't know, like Tabletop Sports, Delphi, something like this, one of these Delphi message boards, and to go on here and sort of talk with everybody else, right? I post on here quite a bit, and you will see people who will talk about their replays. I'm going to tell you, it's a little bit hard to follow this, right? I mean, I don't want to like make anybody feel bad or anything like this, but we can look at one really quick, like a 68 Senators replay. What an interesting thing to do, right? The problem is that, like, maybe you had to take a break. You're off for a 3-week vacation, and you're basically just posting the box scores. If we want to view the full message, we have to click on this. You've got to write a whole bunch of stuff here, right? This is nice because you have some photos and some things, but as you can see here, the formatting is not really all that easy and it's not that good. And the biggest problem with doing it this way, of course, is that messages end up being like stuck in here. So this guy's 87 Major League Baseball replay, for example. I mean, fortunately, he is still updating it, but if this were to get lost somewhere, I mean, it might be hard to find again, right? And so I believe, if I remember right, this guy played the full replay all the way around once, and then finally went back and decided to post the box scores and descriptions of the games, which is, I think, an even harder thing to do. That's got to be really time-consuming. Problem with Delphi is that if you're not always posting in this place or that place, guess what's going to happen? It's going to end up getting lost. So maybe not be the best approach. The next one is probably Blogger. So if we go over to Blogger here, you can create a unique and beautiful blog easily. It's really easy. You go over here, you can create your blog, you can sign in, you can create a new Google account if you want, and it'll give you the ability to, customize things really pretty much however you want. There are some examples of people who've done this type of blog for replays. In fact, I did one a while ago. I'm not going to show you too much of it other than to say that the nice thing about Blogger is that you'll get good SEO like by default. I know I'm using DuckDuckGo here. If you go on Google, whatever, it's about the same thing. But unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff that you can't really customize for yourself, right? And that's part of the problem. If you want more customization, I'd recommend WordPress. So you can do a free WordPress blog, and then you can also do like a professional style one. We'll take a quick look at both of these, though these pages won't tell us really too much. A normal free WordPress blog is going to be right here, I think, at WordPress.com. You can go through, create your account by using email address, a username, and a password, and all that stuff. This will give you a lot more functionality in terms of customization. However, you're not going to have full control over your blog. You're going to end up having to use usually like somebody else's template for the free version of WordPress. I can't remember which one it is, if it's WordPress.org or WordPress.com. It's been a while since I've done this. If you don't use the one, you can use the other one, right? And I think it's WordPress.org, where you get access to tons and tons of plugins. It depends, again on what you want to do. If you have a little bit of money and you're okay with spending some money on like a domain name and spending a little bit of money trying to get stuff set up, and you're not worried about getting a plugin that might be a scam or might be actually a subscription service for you, there's a lot of stuff like that out there. Trust me, I've tried it. If you're not worried about that, you can go for this, or if you have the time to do the research ahead of time, you can go into it. I've had experience doing that. I had a page like this once. It's a lot of work, and you find that you spend more time trying to maintain the website and trying to do things like get the newsletter working than you spend actually posting. So I'm not a huge fan of the approach. The nice thing is that when you have a lot of customizability, you can get better SEO through really kind of natural means. You can also create like your own store if you want to sell stuff, and you can figure out different ways to monetize your blog. But there are some problems. One of the biggest really is that if you want a domain name that people are going to remember, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So you have to ask yourself, is this really worth it? Do I really want to go through this or not? Something to keep in mind, right? Another option that you have is the sort of stuff that I use. You can use Substack. You can use Ghost. There are a couple other similar services, right? We can look at Ghost first and see what Ghost will tell us. So let's see. Ghost blogging platform. There we go. Ghost is pretty cool if you have a ready-made audience. If you don't, it can be a little bit tricky. So the thing about Ghost is that if we can figure out where the plans are here, here's pricing. The thing about Ghost is that a starter plan, which is probably what you'd want for a basic baseball blog, is going to cost you $9 a month. How long do you want to keep this going? How long do you want to have it up there? That's what the big question is. Now, it might be cost effective for you as you start to get people to subscribe directly to you, right? Because the nice thing about Ghost is that you can create it like you can with Substack so that there are members only posts as opposed to posts that are free for everybody, right? With Ghost, I don't know. I decided not to go with this in the end because I didn't know if there was going to be much of a market out there for my blog, and I don't want to start paying $9 a month billed yearly. I mean, that's a lot of money, right? I don't have, $72 to hand over to you right at the beginning so I can start a blog, right? I wanted something free that maybe we could expand to something else. That's the reason why I personally went for Substack. Substack has issues, right? If you have your Substack page, your SEO options are not going to be so easy to change as if you had your own WordPress page. A lot of your Substack audience initially will come from other people on Substack unless you get lucky and you have a blog that looks nice and you can get people like on message boards to click into it and stuff like that. Cool thing about Substack, though, is that it doesn't cost anything to start, right? And so, what you can do is you can just create a Substack right away, put in your email address, and you are publishing for free forever. When you start charging for subscriptions, they take 10% of your fee, and then you have a small amount that goes to Stripe. So, in the interest of full disclosure, when I get people who are paid subscribers on Substack, if you buy $50 for a year subscription, I end up seeing $44 come to me, right? Because 10%, which is $5, goes straight to Substack, and then a little bit more will go over to Stripe. Now, if I were to charge like $500, I would probably not get back $440. Probably would be a little bit more that Stripe would take me. I don't remember off the top of my head exactly how they charge, but that's something to keep in mind. There's another place you can go as well. If you really want to, you can go over to Patreon. And Patreon's not great as far as a blogging platform is concerned, right? But its pricing structure is very, very similar to what Substack has. You can see that you can get a Pro plan, which will take up 8% of the income that you earn. You can also do a little bit more for 12% if you really have a lot of people on there. This 8% plan will end up costing you around the same as what like a Substack will cost you. And I think that Ghost ends up being really similar in the end. Right. Problem with Patreon, though, is that it's not set up nicely the way the Substack is, right? So it's going to be harder for people who don't subscribe to be able to see your posts. It's really not designed to be a blogging platform. It's sort of more like, a message board type thing that's set up for different people. The best Patreons I've seen are Patreons that have certain things that are designed for certain tiers that will link to files that are hosted on like what do they use? I was going to say, you can use Mega. That's what I use. Or on, one of these media cloud things. I don't remember the name of it. But if you have like small files that you've put over there for like the game that you're playing or something like that, with Patreon, you can open up different tiers. So say the people at like the $20 tier will get access to this type of file, and people at like the $5 tier only get access to that type of file or whatever. Something like that can happen. So, I mean, it's an idea. The reason why I like to use Substack as we go over here and see what we've got going on is because it works a lot better as a blogging platform than the others. It's really easy to set this stuff up so that you have different categories of things, right? It's easy to set up like a members area, so that's what we've been able to do here. That's one of the new things we've added on. This way, if you want to look at like the replay results, they'll all come up here. I haven't updated these for a little while, but I try to keep these updated as well. So if you want to read 1908 replay stuff, it'll come up over there. There are also links to the YouTube page and all sorts of other stuff. It's not that hard to set up when you type it, right? It's what you see is what you get. So you don't have to spend a lot of time learning HTML or learning CSS or something like that. Now, the problem is that you don't have a lot of the strength that you have if you have something that is more customizable and that is more designable, right? Again, it depends upon what your familiarity is with designing this stuff and how much time you want to put into it, right? Substack is mostly designed to be you as a writer are using this very specific platform with certain limitations to write your thing out, right? There are other websites, you're doing it yourself, in which it's more like you are a creator that knows HTML or knows how to create a website and also are creating, the blog and the substance and all that other stuff. So there is a difference. I would seriously recommend, if you're starting off and if you're doing this and if you're thinking maybe about monetization or whatever, I'd recommend Substack. It's easy to use. It's a friendly community. It's pretty nice. People are good about referring other people and stuff like that. If you really do want to do this, let me know. If you start one, I'm more than happy to refer you to my 200 something readers, right? Maybe the readers will grow. Substack also has this nice notes functionality, which is much nicer than Twitter. Of course, nobody's looked at my notes, but I do go through and put on notes from both of my blogs on occasion at least. So you can check me out on there, and I'm trying to be a little more active with it. So it's a pretty good platform. Again, I mean, it's not perfect, right? As I said, like the SEO aspect of the platform really does leave a lot to be desired. But all in all, for something that's a free platform, I enjoy it quite a bit. You can make money on Substack even if you're not very well known, but you have to have a good plan from the start. If you have a good plan from the beginning, and if you know where your potential audience is, and you know how to go after them, you could make it so that you make a bit of money. Now, personally, I keep all my posts free because I feel really bad about playing a game and then trying to charge people money because I'm playing it. That doesn't make sense to me, right? So we don't go down that road. But if you had some sort of idea or something you were setting up, or even if you were starting your own new game, or you were fiddling around with a game or something like that, you could, in theory, use Substack, using it very, very strategically to make a little bit of money to support your hobby. So a few ideas. Above all, though, if you are interested in writing something, my biggest recommendation is not to use message boards because stuff gets lost. Use a blog. Use a blog and come up with a plan so that it will be as permanent as possible, because it's really cool to look back and find somebody's project from like 10 or even 20 years ago. That stuff is really neat, and it's cool to find it where it's very nicely done, it's nicely designed, and it's done with the reader in mind. There you have it. That's my opinion on that, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. Bye-bye.